Good evening.
And thank you for joining us tonight. Shocked passengers aboard a Greyhound bus in Manitoba said the attack was incomprehensible. One moment the quiet man near the back of the bus was minding his own business. The next he was viciously stabbing his seatmate with a large hunting knife.
Now witnesses say they still can't believe it, and many are trying to come to grips with a scene that resembled something out of a horror movie. Reporter Lindsay Duncombe has the latest, but we want to warn you the details are very graphic and very disturbing.
What happened on this bus, a little more than an hour outside Winnipeg, can only be described as horrific.
All of a sudden we all heard this scream, a blood-curdling scream, like just hair raised, and we turned around and looked, and I thought it was a fist fight at first. The one guy was standing up, and you know, arms were flailing and stuff like that. And but then I saw the guy had a big freaking Rambo knife, hunting knife, and it was covered in blood, and he just kept going at the guy.
Witnesses say the attacker got on the bus in Brandon. They say the victim was a young man who had been asleep listening to music before the attack. The passengers rushed off the bus. Garnet Caton, a truck driver who stopped to help, and the bus driver returned to the bus.
The three of us entered the bus to see if the victim was still alive, or if there was something that we could do, what was going on in there, and we saw the guy was over top of him, and he was clearly cutting the guy's head off and gutting him.
He says the attacker came towards them. They closed the door and held him back.
That's when he brought the head up, and he came right calmly right towards us with the knife in one hand, the head in the other. And the three of us were just standing there in shock, and he just calmly looked at us with sunglasses on, dropped the head in front of us like it was no big deal.
Passengers could see the attacker through the window.
He picks the head up and he's waving it in the window. I just smoked a cigarette with this man earlier, right? The hit. And he's shaking it back and forth at the window, and it's right intense, right? It's sickening. And
witnesses say police arrived here on the scene about 10 minutes after the attack. Then all of the passengers, including some small children, were taken to a hotel in Brandon about an hour and a half away. Trauma counselors were waiting for them.
RCMP say they have a 40-year-old man in custody. Officers are saying little else about the investigation.
Imagine it would be pretty traumatic for the other passengers on the bus. And the way they reacted was extraordinary.
The public safety minister had this to say.
As bizarre and as tragic as this is, it is extremely rare, and we want to make sure that the person is subject to the full force of the law.
The passengers are on their way back to Winnipeg. One told CBC he hasn't been able to sleep. He can't close his eyes without reliving what he saw. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, near Portage La Prairie.